Today, I'm going to talk to you about how to avoid costly mistakes when buying a home in Miami. And I'm going to get started right now. Hey everyone, my name is Jamey Prezzi. I'm a real estate agent in Miami-Dade and Broward counties. And today I'm going to talk to you about how to avoid costly mistakes when buying a home in Miami. But first, if this is your first time here, hit the subscribe button so you never miss another update. We do put out new videos every week. In the information box, you can find all of our contact information. We also have links that you can access our information. There's a Calendly link if you would like to schedule a chat with me. And I also have some free guides that you are welcome to download. Once you download that guide, I'll add you to our weekly newsletter so you get updated all the time. Okay, let's get started. Buying a home is not something that most people do once a year. Very often, many people do that once in a lifetime, once every so many years, buying and selling properties. So it's really important to know that when you're purchasing real estate in a new area, or if you've never done it before, or if you haven't done it in a while, things change. The markets change. Customs and the way business is handled changes. There's new rules and regulations. Also, if you're buying a property in South Florida and you've never purchased real estate here before, that's very different than buying real estate, let's say, for instance, where I'm from in South Carolina. The way the homes are built here and the things that you need to look for are a little bit different than in other parts of the country, just because we're in South Florida and we're on the coast. We also have a lot of little nuances that go into the insurance process here. And so there's just a lot to know. So let's talk about a few things that you can avoid so you don't make costly mistakes when buying real estate in our area. First of all, just know that real estate is, of course, location, location, location. And there are definitely some local market customs that we do in our area. Miami-Dade can be a little bit different than Broward. Also, the market data is very different from county to county. And like I said before, don't just assume that because real estate was done one way where you're from, that it's also handled the same way. Speak with a local agent and have a buyer consultation so you really know what to expect. Also, our market data cannot be generalized. That's really important to know. Miami-Dade and Broward counties are two different real estate markets. And within each of these markets, there are many other little markets. For example, we have single family homes. There's also condominiums. But just within the single family home market, we have super luxury. We have waterfront. There's different types of waterfront properties. There's non-waterfront properties. There's HOA communities. And there's just really a lot to know about the local markets. And it's really important to make sure that you find someone who you trust, who can guide you through the process. So first of all, don't waste time on just, spending time, looking at properties until you kind of understand a little bit, or you have someone to guide you about the local market customs and also the market info. So one thing that I see buyers do that's kind of a little bit unusual take on this, but I always say time is money. And sometimes in this market where there's not a lot of inventory, buyers will just wait for the perfect house to come on the market. And by that, I mean, they'll skip properties that have really bad pictures. And sellers, take note, buyers do not want to waste time looking at properties that they think will not meet their needs. So very often they make that decision based on that first look and swipe on buy. So make sure you use an agent who is using a professional photographer for your listing photos. With that said, for the buyers, don't just skip houses that look bad in photos. Sometimes that can be a very good opportunity for you. If you are skipping them, probably other buyers are too. So, don't miss opportunities because you're just skipping for bad photos. Next, me and the mortgage pre-approval, but this is the thing. A lot of times people want to just come look at real estate and they need to get financing, and you can really spend a lot of time looking at the wrong properties because you don't know what is your buying power. And I don't just mean how much you want to pay for a property or how much you're qualified for. Maybe you're qualified to spend, $3 or $4 million. But then when you put all the fees together every month about how much it will cost you to carry that mortgage, maybe you only want to spend $1.5 or $2.5 million. You also want to have a good idea about how much to budget for insurance and the type of home you will be insuring, because trust me, if you're buying property, especially a super luxury property on the water in a flood zone, that's very different than buying a landlocked property not in a flood zone in terms of the cost of insurance. And also you want to understand the property taxes. Another thing that's very important to know is that with so few properties on the market today, you can expect any property that is decent will probably have multiple offers on it. And with that, you will definitely want to have a pre-approval letter ready, because sometimes it can take time for the banks to prepare that. Many banks don't work over the weekend, another story, but very often they don't work over the weekend. And so you can miss opportunities. And of course, that can be a very costly mistake by not having the pre-approval in hand. And some are even asking for a DU, which is a deeper approval process. We can talk about that at a buyer consultation. Now, sometimes once people find out what their budget is, then they'll start focusing on fixer-uppers, because they'll think that, well, okay, our budget is this, but I don't want to pay that much. So let's look at homes in this pricing bracket because we can always invest in it. Fixer-uppers always cost more than what you think they're going to cost, and they can be very challenging for buyers who need financing. And the reason why is because some systems may not pass inspections if they're in really poor repair and poor condition. And it creates an issue for insurance, which will create an issue for financing, because you need insurance in order to get financing on a property. The major, most significant systems that are really important are the roof, the electrical, the plumbing, the HVAC system, and of course, impact rated items. This is really kind of case by case, but we can talk about that. But if you need financing, it's typically better to focus on homes that are in fairly decent shape so that they can pass all the inspections, so the insurance is not so expensive, and that you can get insurance, and so that you can close on the property. So don't waste a lot of time, which also is money, and avoid the costly mistake, because fixer-uppers always cost more than what you think they're going to cost. And if you waste too much time on that, you can miss a lot of good opportunities. And last but not least, don't waste your time on being super upset if you miss out on an opportunity to buy. This is one of the biggest costly mistakes that I see buyers making right now, because they make offers and then they get upset and then they'll take 2 weeks off. You cannot do that. That's a huge, costly mistake in today's market. You need to know that you will probably be making offers on more than one property in order to get a property under contract in today's market. So I know people fall in love with properties. I see it every single day. But my biggest piece of advice for our buyers today is just don't make the mistake of falling in love with just one property. Other properties will come on the market, and sometimes they're even better. I have people who go under contract on a property. They finally get under contract, and then they do inspections, and the inspections come back not so good. So they cancel, we move on. And guess what? A lot of times they find a better property that they love down the road. So don't worry about that. There's always properties that come on the market. There's always beautiful properties that come on the market. We just have to act fast, be prepared, move on when your offer does not get accepted, and just keep moving forward. A lot of our buyers are very successful in today's market. We have buyers who close every single month. And you can be successful in today's market. You just have to have a lot of preparation and knowledge and skill, someone working for you. But as long as you have skilled people on your team and you have a little bit of trust in them and you focus on the right details, you can really avoid a lot of costly mistakes and just keep moving forward. And in the end, you can definitely find a beautiful home in South Florida. My name is Jamey Prezzi. This is my husband, Ognjen Prezzi. We put out new videos every single week. You can find us online on Instagram at The Prezzis. Our website is theprezzis.com. I hope that you have found this video helpful, and I think that's it for today. We'll see you soon.